Hey guys, what's going on? Watomarmelon back here again on my second channel doing another market watch for October 29th. If you guys do enjoy, make sure to subscribe, like as always. And you guys have been doing it and I appreciate it, but clicking that eBay link in the description below before making a purchase on eBay, I get a little cutback and it costs nothing for you, so I appreciate that and everyone who uses that link. So without further ado, the first thing I want to talk about is Lady Labyrinth of the Silver Castle Starlight Rare. This thing got very, very expensive in the OCG, and you can see that Lady Labyrinth is performing quite well. There are actually only 7 listings left for this, and all of them only have one copy available except for core TCG. So this thing is starting to dry up on the market. And these Starlight Rares always surprise me. There are so many coming out each year that they maintain value. I mean, it's kind of crazy because they're very, very difficult to pull, but 20 new Starlights are coming around each year, 5 in each core set. And so there are tons of these things. And to me, I can't conceive of a way that they all hold value. Some of them have to fall through, and some of them are, but it always surprises me when people do a new round of buyouts on the newest Starlight Rare, although this one is one that people in the OCG have shown that they do appreciate it, and so I wouldn't be surprised if this one does quite well. Personally, I'm not super into most Starlight Rares, but I have noticed that the PSA 10s do quite well, and so I might get into grading these things because it seems like there's some money to be made. And also, I don't think grading these things is impossibly difficult. I think that's a fair assessment. You just got to worry about print lines, off-centerness, and, sometimes the corners can be brittle. But it always surprises me how well these things do. But, I guess people really, really like this rarity, so it can't be a surprise every new time, I guess. The next card I wanted to look at is Blackwing Dragon Starlight Rare, again out of Darkwing Blast. This card is pretty incredible. I love how they are reprinting all the Signer Dragons, or they've reprinted Stardust, Black Rose, Black Winged. I forget if they did Shooting Star in the TCG. I know they did it in the OCG. But it'd be, quite impressive if they reprinted all of the Signer Dragons and Starlight Rare. That would, make some modern collecting goal for fans of the 5Ds era. I mean, this card is beautiful. I've seen some videos of people pulling it in, high quality, and it looks quite nice. Although, Blackwing Dragon, I don't think it's most people's favorite by any stretch of the imagination, and so seeing it at around 150 is not super surprising to me, and I wouldn't be surprised if it continues falling out because I don't know how many people are going after this thing. How many people really like this card? I don't know. I think it's a cool card, but, you need some people who really have some attachment to it to shoot it up in price. The next one I'm going to look at is out of the Speed Duel GX Midterm Paradox. I love Speed Duels. Maybe I'm, a bit partial to them, but I think that this card looks incredible. I mean, if you haven't seen videos of people packing or, opening this card out of packs, the thing looks insane. And so this is one that I'm interested in, albeit there is another secret rare Bubble Man that is definitely higher rarity, but, if you're looking for a nice budget option that only costs you, $1.50 up to $2.50, that's really not too bad for something that looks as nice as this does. It's kind of sad because the Speed Duel Midterm Paradox has really not done well. I do like the concept, and I really like Speed Duels. I like playing them. They play more like a board game, right? And so I think that's a bit more fun for me as a casual player. But, they just really did not succeed with the Midterm Paradox. I wish they had done some better picks for the actual secret rares. Like, they should have just done, Clayman, Sparkman, Burstinatrix, Avian, along with Bubbleman in this rarity, because I think people are much more interested in getting those original heroes as collectibles as opposed to something like, Water Dragon and Secret Rare. I don't think anyone asked for it. Even though it looks beautiful, no one's really asking for that card. So that's my 2 cents on the Midterm Paradox, although I do like that they release these things, and it's nice to get some rarity bumps on a lot of cards in a really affordable manner. This is not a super affordable card. You got Horus the Black Flame Dragon level 8 Ultimate Rare, one of the chase cards from probably the chase card from the sort of forgotten era between Ancient Sanctuary and Lost Millennium. There's the 3-set era of Soul of the Duelist, Rise of Destiny, and Flaming Eternity. And this is definitely the chase from that era. It's the biggest card out of Soul of the Duelist. Soul of the Duelist was the first set to introduce Ultimate Rares. So having the biggest chase from that set, Ultimate Rare, you're looking at $200 for something that's not, bent to hell. And then when you start looking for better conditioned versions, light play at $500, that's a pretty penny. And if you're trying to get a near mint, you're looking at, close to $10,000 on TCG Player. Now, obviously, you should not be paying that. Just buy it on eBay or some other sites. Yeah, and you can get a very lightly played one for $450. So, very, very cool card. Beautiful, beautiful card. I have this in Japanese where the foiling just pops so well. But not super affordable. That much is certain. Next up, we have Trishula, another card that looks incredible. You can see that this one really has seen some resurgence, albeit the scale just goes from 178 to 182, so that's not really too large, although you go back 6 months and it's still performing quite well. You go back a year and this is still performing quite well. I did not realize that. So this card has just gone up and up. It does have that Starlight version. It also has the DT Ultra Rare, but pretty clearly people are enjoying this Ultimate Rare. This is a card that looks incredible, and I think Trishula is a pretty iconic monster. So having it in Ultimate Rare out of Astral Pack 8, which who the heck is opening Astral Pack 8? No one. I'll answer that. So having that is not too bad, and I'm sure it's a collectible a lot of people like. Next up, we've got Allure Queen. Kind of the opposite trajectory. I guess it's too noisy because there really aren't many of these things sold. You can see that there are only 10 listings on market. You can get an Italian lightly played one for $50, but a near mint first edition is going to run you about $100, which is a lot better than I would have thought for these sort of hobby ultimate rare cards. But it's a cool looking card. I've pulled it in the Korean Cyberark Impact. I'm not crazy enough to open up English, and it looks really, really nice. So I'm a fan. Next up, we have Pot of Greed, Old Faithful. Probably the biggest card out of Duelist Pack Kaiba, which is a really expensive box these days. So you can get a near mint unlimited for $64. I remember when these things were like $20-$30 for near mint unlims, but definitely one that a lot of people collect. Then when you go to first edition, moderately played at around 125. Here's a lightly played for 125. And near mints, there's a motivated seller at 179, close to 180. And then after that, it's up to 245 for Pot of Greed. Beautiful card, but, it's Pot of Greed. Blackluster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos. This is a really cool one. It has that Ghost from the Past 1 Ghost Rare. I don't think people were really expecting the Ultimate Rare reprint. Definitely a really cool looking one, but you can get them for $60 with $2 shipping. Ton of these available. Really cool looking card, as I said, but I wonder where the long-term value for a card like this is. There's the original print Secret. Do you go after that instead of the Ultimate? There's also the Ghost from the Past 1 Ghost Rare. Do you go after that? I mean, Ghost Rares have really taken a dip in sort of their valuation after Ghost from the Past 2, which made them much, much more readily available. But, it is what it is, and I wonder where, people value the different versions of this card. This is, something that I don't really know in the framework of how I think about cards. Always looking at that first printing, first edition is important, especially when it has something like a protected rarity, but when it's secret rare, it's a little bit more dicey, even though it was super short printed. And then a couple years later, getting a ghost rare, and then, I think in the same year, getting an ultimate rare, a couple months later, getting an ultimate rare. I mean, it's kind of hard to know where these are going to end up falling, but still, people seem to really like the Blackluster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos, so who knows. And then looking at ghost rares, Does this surprise you, seeing this list of, sorting the Ghost Rares based on market price? You have the Misprint Elemental Hero Chaos Neos Rainbow Dragon. You got Dark Magician from Ghost from the Past 1. This to me is like the prime example of how, I don't know, overpriced this card was. I mean, it's come down quite significantly. If we open it up in a new tab, let's look at the price of this thing. Just looking at the yearly one, it sort of saw a little bit of a bump due to Ghost from the Past 2, and then it's falling out even further. Slightly played around 450. If we sort by near mint, you can see that you can get them for 585. So the market price is pretty accurate to what this card is valued at. Then you got Stardust Dragon, Black Rose Dragon. Those ones really don't surprise me. Shooting Star Dragon, that set I believe is really hard to get your hands on. Rainbow Dragon, this is one that I always said was, relatively speaking, undervalued. Now, everything's going down, so it's hard to really specify what undervalued actually means when everything's going down. If it's undervalued but it's still going down, you probably shouldn't buy it unless you really need it for your collection. Looking at the near mint first edition, 550 and then on up to 600. I mean, this thing really hasn't gone down all that much. In fact, if you look at the first edition market price, it's actually going up, right? It's kind of flatlined, which speaks to how undervalued I thought this card was. I mean, it's the first ever Ghost Rare. I think people really didn't respect the fact that it's historic in its own sense, being the first Ghost Rare. Then moving on, we have more of Ghost from the Past stuff. I mean, who knows where that's going to end up. Winged Dragon of Ra. I think a lot of people were holding out based on the fact that they were expecting Slifer and Obelisk to be printed as Ghost Rares. Has not happened, but if it does, I imagine people are going to go back to getting this Ghost from the Past. Or not Ghost from the Past. Rage of Ra. Winged Dragon of Ra. Some more of the Signer Dragons. Here's the Blackluster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos that I was talking about. Honest, incredible Ghost Rare. And then you have more of the 5D stuff. Some Photon Shockwave, awesome Ghost Rare, and Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. I wonder where some of these, Zexal cards are going to end up, because this is, a pretty iconic card from Zexal. Who's opening up first edition Photon Shockwave these days? I mean, we can look at what this card is valued at, but I mean, Photon Shockwave, people aren't really cracking it, and getting a near mint copy, you're looking at around $87. And if you're looking for a first edition copy, after that zero feedback seller, you're looking at $165. So pretty incredible card. I have one of these on Limb, so beautiful card that I really enjoy. Let me know what you guys thought. Wanted to do another one because I haven't done one in a while. As always, clicking the eBay link supports me at no additional cost to you. Subscribe, all that sort of stuff. Spending Boy Watomarmelon, and peace out.